All right. Hey everyone. I am doing a little something different right now. I am actually here in Tucson, Arizona, an amazingly beautiful city. So if you ever get a chance, come down to Arizona. It's definitely beautiful. Nice little getaway. But I'm here for some other work. On behalf of Panasonic Lumix cameras. But of course, as I said, I will be going live like usual every Monday at 8 o'clock for Marketing Mondays for those creatives, especially photographers who want to turn their passion into profits. And this week, I got something cool in store because I've gotten a few questions and it made me say, yeah. There's something I need to talk about. Hey, thanks to everybody tuning in over in Instagram right now. And yes, I'm holding the mic. It's a weird situation. This is the first time I'm doing something mobile and from a distance. Hey, Skip, thanks for tuning in. And so let's get right into it. This week, I want to talk about those, I want to ask the question, when should you start charging for your photography? Let's get into it. A camera and a little bit of passion alone does not mean that you're ready to start charging for your photography. I'm going to go over an honest checklist to ask yourself to make sure that you're really ready to begin asking people for money for your work. Let's get into it.
Hi, Robert Silver here, and I have a question. Have you been struggling with attracting clients? What about ways to scale and grow your business? Or have you been conflicted with how to use the latest social media apps and trends to grow your audience and influence? Marketing Monday is about helping photographers and any other business really to increase their digital presence with little to no cost by leveraging social media and other creative tools available on the market, as well as keeping you updated on all the latest digital marketing trends happening today. Tune in with me every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on my YouTube channel for strategies, techniques, tips, and advice on how to help build your brand online.
All right. So, as I said, this week we got plenty in store. We're going to ask that question and go over the details of whether you should be starting to charge people for your photography. And right now, the entry level to get into photography is super easy. Like, all you really need is a credit card, a little bit of passion, and you're in the game. And most cameras right now for $1,000 is going to create great quality images or video in many cases. Again, for those that are just tuning in, I'm here in Arizona, so I am doing this live episode mobile. I'm in a beautiful resort. It's called Westin La Paloma Resort over in Tucson. So if you ever can, make sure you check out this beautiful resort. It's absolutely amazing. If you check out my stories on Instagram, I've posted a few things on there, and it's not a plug. They didn't care for whether I'm doing this or not, but I just wanted to let you know it's a gorgeous place to be at and kind of chill out. But I'm here to work. So anyway, and that's why today I'm going to bring what I'm bringing this topic to all of you in this discussion. I really want to hear from you, so make sure that you post your comments down below. But let's get some things out the way. First is let me know how my audio is, because right now I'm not using my normal mixer, and I want to make sure that I sound good to go. So post any comments, please. Let me know what I sound like. I need to know. I need to know. So of course, um, make sure that you go ahead, and like and share this video, and because it helps the algorithm let other people know that what I'm doing every Monday at 8 o'clock is trying to help creatives to expand their impact and their influence and overall their pockets when it comes to their work and getting their brand out there. Okay, so go ahead and follow me, you everyone on Instagram. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel. You could just go ahead and click on the link in my bio and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, or press a like, etc., etc. Subscribe is always good. If you're somewhere else, I'm on Facebook at Robert Silver Photography. I'm on Instagram at Robert Silver Photography. I'm on TikTok at Robert Silver Photography, and of course, I'm on Twitter too. Okay. I'm pretty much everywhere. So if you can't find me, it's because you're not trying hard enough. That's just the way it is. And it's all good. Okay. Now, I'm doing something a little different. Okay. Matter of fact, not different. I'm just adding something. Since this is, I think, my sixth or seventh live episode of Marketing Monday, where I help photographers who want to turn their passion into profit. I decided, since I get a lot of inboxing in terms of questions and tips and advice, I said, you know what? Since I'm always talking about how to level up and expand your product line, et cetera, and how to scale your business as a creative, well, I need to do that for myself. So, for those who are on YouTube, can see right now, and as well as Instagram too, I do marketing consultation for specifically for creatives because sometimes it's really easy to be an artist, but it's not that hard to put. I mean, it's a little bit harder to add the business aspects into it so that you can actually thrive as a business being a creative, right? Whether it be videographer or a photographer or even a model, because a lot of times you got to keep one, two, or three jobs in order to chase your passion. And me, I like to chase my passion and my profits. So, with that said, if you have any questions about online marketing, social media strategy, or content development to increase your brand awareness online, definitely hit me up. My consultations start at 1 hour, etc., and up. So contact me for rates if you have any questions. I'm definitely down to do some consultation, whether it be through Zoom. I can do an analysis of your digital presence in terms of your social media branding, your overall business strategy, your website. So definitely, there's a lot of areas that will, believe it or not, create positive impact for you to create some profits. And a lot of times it's the most littlest, simplest things that you're not doing. That's the biggest mistakes. Okay. Okay. With that said, this week I don't have a product highlight just because of the fact that I am in Arizona. So I only could bring so much with me. So today it's really going to be a lot of talking. Okay. So again, the question I want to ask everybody is, are you even ready to start charging for photography? Okay. I get it. We're all passionate. We love what we do and we want to figure out how to make some money, but you want to make sure you're not putting the cart before the horse, right? So let's get into it. All right. Where's my ugly mug? There we go. So the first thing I want to really talk about is do you even know your own style? Okay. I ask this question because a lot of people want to go from 0 to 60 very quickly without doing their own inner, I would say inner, their own personal assessment on whether they even understand their own creative voice. Because if you don't understand your own creative voice, then honestly, you don't understand your most important product, which is you, your talent, you. And because that's what you're really asking other people to do, which is invest their money into you. And right now, that is the most valuable asset you have. And it's not your camera, because everybody pretty much has a camera. That's not a competitive advantage you have over somebody else. Because no client has ever asked me for my camera unless it's another, like a commercial videography client, or or you're doing some freelance work and they already know what it is you may be holding. But generally, clients don't know, nor do they care. They just want the result. So your camera is not your competitive advantage. Your competitive advantage really is you, your approach to photography, what it is, your eye. When they say, "Oh, you have an eye in photography," they really appreciate your perspective and your approach to photography. So that's why I asked the question, do you know your style? Honestly, what is your style of photography that you could say hands down, this is what I do? If you could just choose one. That's right, I said one. Okay? One style, meaning genre. What is how do you define your style? Post a comment, let me know what your style of photography is, and if you're having trouble, then that's an issue. One way that I could tell you're having a trouble to be very definitive about what your style is, you're going to give me two, three, four, five different styles that you enjoy. You know what? I enjoy a lot of photography too. I like landscape, I like street photography, I like all sorts of stuff that you don't see on my Instagram. But the point is, people don't call me for those things. I don't get paid for those things. And I certainly couldn't charge what I'm charging for portraits in other style or genres of photography. But I enjoy shooting it for my own pleasure. But I know specifically the market compensates me for portrait photography, and therefore my marketing is tied around it. My social media strategy, my branding, everything else, my own identity is literally wrapped around portrait photography. So therefore, I know how to. Once you know how to stay in your lane, then all your marketing efforts go into that. It's much more clear and definitive, and people, your audience needs you to understand. So therefore, they clearly understand why they're reaching out to you versus somebody else. You want to become quasi an expert in your field. You can't be an expert when you're trying to be an expert in every damn field. Okay, so what is your style of photography? What genre do you honestly have a passion in shooting? Can you clearly define that? Um, Another thing is like I would research what an elevator pitch is. And if you cannot tell somebody what kind of photography that you do, you have a passion for, and you have expertise in, by the time you get to the next flight, when you're in the elevator, then clearly you need to go back to the drawing board and reassess your what style, but to also how can I say your identity as a photographer. Again, especially in this field and like in many others, professionals get paid more, meaning the professionals that are, how can I say, the specialists get paid more. If you specialize only in plumbing, guaranteed you're going to get more money than Uncle Jim Jam Jew, who is Mr. Handyman, who can do some plumbing, some carpentry, some electrician. I wouldn't even trust that guy, but I would trust the guy who only does plumbing, and he's probably going to do a hell of a job. And guess what? Get paid more per hour. So that's the same thing with you. So that's why I want to lead off with, what is your style? Ask yourself that and post it down below. I would love to know what style of photographers are watching me right now. Okay. So that's really the first question. Be honest with yourself. And if you don't know your style, how about at least ask yourself, what style of photography would you like others to know you for? That's probably a nice, easy way, because again, this is before you start charging photography or asking whether you think you should be asking people for money for your photography. So, yes, what style of photography or genre do you want people to know you for? Because when I first started photography, honestly, I started out doing um, event photography. That's really where I started, because it was easy. I showed up, I gave them free pictures, I was able to practice, and it was pretty much a win-win. And whether my photography was great or not, they got tons of free photos, and all I needed was free entry. So to them, it was a win-win-win. So really, I started there, and then eventually I was like, you know what? I feel like I feel in my bones I can do X, which was more fashion, portrait photography. And then I just went really hard into that and never looked at event photography again, except for weddings. So that's why I'm saying, like, I went through the same process, and I'm asking you to do the same, because people eventually will call you for a specific type of work to be done, because they deem you as more of an expert. Experts are focused. They know exactly what they're good at, what they're not. And if they need to, they'll hire those who are better at what they're not good at. Okay. So that's the first question. What do you know what style you enjoy, or at least want to be known for? Okay. Now, these next two things are kind of close to each other. First thing is, you can't run when you could barely walk. Okay. And what I mean by that is like, here's a good example. You can't start demanding all these things from potential clients when you don't have a track record of any success, of at least some timeline of like, okay, I have experience in this arena of handling business. One thing is like, I was talking to one photographer, and I was like, okay, the prices you want to charge are great, and I honestly think they're fair, but you got to make sure that you've done your homework so that you could justify those particular costs. Trust me, I want to charge 5 grand an hour. I would love to, but I don't think I'm at that particular point to justify why I deserve 5 grand. Not saying other photographers don't, because I know photographers that charge 1,500, etc., for headshots. But there are certain things I know I need to have in place before I even think about demanding such a rate. Also, does the market allow you to? If you're in Utah, you're not getting 1,500 unless you're absolutely a savant or something. And if you can, then I say Mazel Tov, go for it. And kudos. Let me know what your profile is. I'll go ahead and follow you. But the point is that like you have to crawl before you walk before you run, and run before you fly. There's a process. That's why I mean you can't run when you could barely walk. It's a process. I'm not even near to where I feel like or I envision for myself. And I've been doing this for 10 years in terms of understanding lighting, understanding shadow, how to do studio portraiture, work with off camera flash, natural lights, all the stuff. And I feel like, I'm not even going to say feel, I know I have so much more to learn, but at the same time, I can look back after 10 years and see the growth, and that allows me to do another analysis of myself to see like where are my weaknesses, where are my strengths, and to play to that. And again, the marketing strategy that I choose reinforces those two facts, whether I have a strength here or a weakness there. If you're just starting out and you've been shooting for maybe 6 months or a year, etc., and you starting to itch like, hey, I need to start charging. Okay, that's fair. But I asked, that's this episode is about you doing an honest analysis and an honest assessment as a creative. Are you ready? That's why I said, are you even ready to start taking someone's money? Are you ready to start demanding a value to your work? Me as a creative, of course, I'm going to say, you should value your work. I just want you to make sure that you're making a smart business decision that creates a longevity in this as a career versus a flash in a pan. I feel like there's like two kind of customers as you're building your brand, or two type of people you're marketing to. One person you're marketing to is the paying customer, right? Headshots or whatever, portraits, weddings, etc. The other person you're kind of marketing to, I've realized when you're building your brand, is your colleagues, your fellow photographers. It's kind of weird. You kind of have to like win them both over, even though your colleagues aren't paying for your work, but they do give you validation in the marketplace that helps you to take yourself to the next step. A lot of times they can be honest with you. I hope they are. And they're like, okay, your work is X, whether it be good or bad. And then you know where you need to work on because they're being honest and they seeing from the outside perspective what is working and what is not working. And I'm talking about honest critiques, right? Not just people just being a dick, pretty much, and hating on you because you're out there putting in work. But that's why, like I said, it's a process. You can't run when you can barely walk. Okay. You can't go from 0 to 60. We live in a society where there are certain fundamentals that just work. I was just listening to something with TD Jakes, and he's like, you only see me at the finish line. You don't see me during the race. You didn't see me for 10 years when I had to sleep in my car or ask for people to help me make ends meet. You only see me at the finish line. And that's the same thing with photography. A lot of people see a vlogger or whoever that's successful on YouTube, etc., but they don't realize it took them 10 years to get there. And there's a process to this. If you want to have a lasting, thriving career in this, that's why I've been telling you in other episodes, hey, you need to diversify. You need to make sure that photography alone is not just what you do. You need to create multiple streams of income, like I posted today on Instagram. You need to be multi-dimensional in your sources of income. It costs way too much to survive right now. Hey, Art, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. You need to, and Stefan, thank you very much. You need to think like a conglomerate. A conglomerate has like multiple brands within underneath their parent brand, their umbrella company. And they do that not only so they can make more money, but also to diversify their risks. Okay. You've seen that in stocks. They say diversify your risks. Well, you should be thinking like a conglomerate. That's the way I get down. That's why the times when my finances have been best is when I've had multiple streams of income. It's yeah, okay, granted I like working a lot, but there's a process and there's a reason why certain things just work. Okay, when one dips, one is keeping you up afloat, therefore not killing you and stressing you. Think and strategize to improve the weaknesses, and then also to improve to build upon the strengths. That's why you need to be multidimensional in terms of your sources of income as a creative. It's mandatory. It's not even an option. Otherwise, keep your day job, and I'll see you on a weekend when you want to finally pick up your camera. Again, marketing Mondays are for creatives, especially photographers who want to turn their passion into profit. If you want to do that, you have to do a few things. Be honest with yourself, create a plan, execute, fail, repeat. I told you that in the last video. I'm going to keep telling you that. That's why you can't run when you can barely walk. So take baby steps. Okay. I'm going to do a video in the future about how to price yourself as a new photographer. How should you start charging, like the actual pricing strategy? Okay. Pricing is one of the four P's of marketing. Okay. Very important. That's why you can't run before you barely walk. You have to do a lot of homework first, R&D. You don't just put out a product and someone's going to buy it. No, they do market research. They look at their competitive analysis. They look at the cost, benefit, all this other stuff. Okay, you got to slow it down if you want this to be a thriving business. All right. So got to slow down, trust the process. Okay. If you want to start charging, start see where people are at. Throw out a price. That's what I did. I threw out $100. My first charge was a friend of mine. I did. He was a in a band, and he asked me to show up once, then twice, and then eventually I said, hey man, can I get $100? I'm hanging out with you at this club and taking all these photos and whatnot. And he actually said yes. And then I started scratching my little chinny chin. And I said, oh man, wait, $100, one night times how many nights? I said, oh my God, I think I could actually I could make some extra money doing this thing. And I like doing it. And that's kind of where it stemmed from. Then I started multiplying and building on that $100. Oh, what if and then I said to myself after a while, how much do I need to make to quit my damn day job? Okay, that could be an entire video. But are you ready to quit your day job? Matter of fact, that's a great video. I need to write that down. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll talk about that. To quit. Are you ready to quit? Yeah, I think that'll be a great topic. Anywho, so like I said, you can't run when you could barely walk. Okay. That's why you gotta trust the process. Slow down. Just because one or two people like, oh, your work is great. I'm not saying not to charge. Obviously, the Marketing Monday is about you making money off your passion. But I just want you to do it in a nice, controlled, mature way of doing it. And be, I need $500 for 1 hour. Who the hell are you to be asking for $500? But after 10 years of doing what I do, I have a price rate, and I say, this is it. I've earned this right to say this because I have a decade of work, and my work ethic speaks for itself. And my portfolio, which you go to right to robertsilverphotography.com, speaks for itself. So whether you want to pay for it or not, it's up to you. If you are, let's book a session. And if you're not, I'm not insulted. It's okay. Okay. But you gotta, again, you can't run when you could barely walk. All right. Slow down, trust the process. Understand that there is a process. Um, who is it? Hold on, hold on. Motivational speaker. Yikes. Les Brown. That's who it is. Les Brown said, "Success leaves clues." Okay. There's a common denominator that you can find. It's very easy that you just study 3 to 5 successful people that you admire, And a lot of times there is a common denominator in terms of characteristics, attitude, and approach to their craft, whatever it is that they're doing. A lot of it is they took their time. It took time. There's a process to this, man. It's not overnight. An overnight success took fucking 5 years, 6 years. Rarely is it overnight in a real sense, meaning like an extremely short period of time. But the longest lasting success stories that I've seen took time, took work, took patience, took dedication, took planning, and they had a strategy. They did things on purpose. They were very intentful with everything they did, and you need to be the same too. Competition is so thick, you do not have the privilege to not be strategic. Okay? That's why you can't go from crawling to running. No, you have to walk, crawl, stand up, balance, fall back, get back up, and then walk a little bit, and then walk a little faster, walk a little faster, walk a little faster, and now you're running. It's a process. Here's the one thing. This might hurt, but it is what it is. Somebody has to ask these questions, and that's going to be me. That's what Marketing Monday is all about. And next thing is, here's a question: are you honestly ready? And you say, what do you mean? Am I honestly ready? In my heart, I feel ready. Yeah, of course I feel ready. Kind of silly question, Robert. In your damn hotel. Okay. No, seriously, are you honestly ready? I mean, as a photographer, do you have your fundamentals down? Are you comfortable to solve? Are you good at solving problems? The thing I do most as a photographer is solve problems. If you don't understand that most of your job is solving a creative problem, you are about to have a rude awakening real quick. Now, here's an example: lighting conditions. Are you truly prepared to overcome, or at least, um, to overcome challenging lighting conditions? Personally, this is just me. Personally, I think photographers should be comfortable with off-camera flash, using a monolight, and natural light. That's just me because the client does not care. They want the result. You can't when the cloud and the sun is not right or hitting this way, that way, or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're gonna look at you like, I don't care. I showed up. I'm not coming back. I already paid you your deposit, which hopefully is non refundable deposit. Make sure that's a practice. Um, they want the result, and that's it. You're in charge now. So therefore all the fault lies on you, all the success lies on you. So therefore, that's why I said, are you honestly ready? Do you have your fundamentals down? Do you know certain basic things? Do you know why certain things are done a particular way? Um, if it's absolutely pouring out, are you comfortable with working inside of a studio? Do you know the basic studio? Do you know what basic modifiers in a studio do? Do you know the difference between different lighting stands and why they're there and available? Backdrops. Do you know the like basic? Do you know what recommended outfits, what to wear, not to wear, depending on the size and the shape of your subject? Or for the content that they need to create, like what's good for headshots versus what's good for model digitals, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm not saying you need to have all the answers, but you should have some idea or at least know where to go research. Okay. One thing I learned when I used to work at Men's Warehouse as a salesperson was you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know everything, but you should know at least where to find the answer to that question if you don't know it yourself. So that allowed me to at least get some how can I say? That allowed me to get some trust from my clients when I did not know what I was talking about. I said, "You know what? Okay, give me 1 second. I know exactly where to find the answer." And that at least instilled some trust, and they felt a little bit more confident in listening to my advice. Okay. Again, are you honestly ready? Because a lot of times my job is solving their creative problems or solving my own. I'll show up thinking it's going to be kind of like overcast out and the lighting's going to be sweet for natural light. And all of a sudden, the sun is shining bright, birds are tweeting and whatnot, and the sun is right overhead, creating the most deepest, darkest contrasts. You don't know. That's why I always keep a monolight, one monolight flash in the trunk, because you never know in the Bay Area what the weather's going to be by the time you show up, regardless of what Google Maps or Weather Channel or whatever says. So, contingency plans, have something to fall back on. This comes through, as I said earlier, by working the process as a photographer, understanding but trial and error. That's why I said plan, execute, fail, repeat. And you end up coming up with solutions to problems before they ever even occur, and you're ready. They're in the back of your mind. Oh, that happened, boom, I did it. And then to your clients, they don't know none the wiser, and you look like a boss. Okay. uh Jerome Terry 26 on Instagram asked, should pro photographers be shooting in auto? I personally do not think so. Okay. And the reason why is, as a creative, I'm kind of anal. Okay, Jerome. I like to have total control, for good or for worse, for pass or fail, right? I want to have total control, meaning if I overexpose, that was my fault. If I underexpose, it's my fault. Second thing is, when it's on auto, it's doing the algorithm, it's doing calculations. It doesn't know if you're shooting a rock, it doesn't know if you're shooting a human. It doesn't know about skin tone. It doesn't know dick. I don't care what anybody says. It's just doing it, and based off the calculations, this is the exposure, etc. So as soon as you can, just practice getting off of manual. Go to a zoo, go to something, ask somebody who just needs free photos, and practice shooting more in manual. You having total creative control, to me, actually gives me a sense of security, because I know that's what I want in terms of settings, and thus the results I expect to get. I've noticed in auto that you could shoot, change, maybe 15 degrees, and all of a sudden the lighting is a little different, and the weighting, the exposure is calculated can be different, and then exposes completely different. So that's why I say stay away from that. Go manual. Of course, if you're just learning auto, here, I'll give you, auto might be okay. Street photography, if you're just practicing composition. Okay, if you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go out and shoot some composition and understand and practice composition, because composition is king. As I said in my videos, go check it out on my YouTube channel. If you want to practice composition, street photography is phenomenal. Okay, because that's all you're concentrating on is composition, right? Lines and buildings and whatnot. Go cityscape photography or whatnot. Cool. Keep it on auto, mazel tov. Do whatever you want to do, right? But when it comes to client work and shooting portraits in particular, manual. So thanks, Jerome Terry 26, for that question. That was a great question. I think I have another question. Oh, thanks a lot, Simon Wong, a continued supporter of my YouTube channel. I think he tuned in over. Oh, yeah, he's on YouTube. Oh, there we go. So true, he says. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the continued support. So, as I said, are you honestly ready? Not again, it's not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, be honest with yourself. As a business, you have to be honest. Sometimes you just be like, damn, I fucked up. Sometimes you have to just be like, okay, that was not a smart business move. Cool, breathe, have a drink. And then that's why I said reassess, execute, and then repeat. No, I said execute, fail, then repeat. Okay, it's a process. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. But you have to be honest with yourself. Are you really ready? Do you have all the fundamentals down? Okay, don't pigeonhole yourself. You want to be able to create. You want to be. Do you have your own voice yet? Do you honestly have your own voice? Your voice isn't because you're louder than me. You know what I mean? It's not because of that. Your voice is something that when you see my work next to somebody's, like, oh yeah, that's Robert's work. That's your work. That's what you're known for. That aesthetic, that style, your editing, etc. And that's why people literally hire you, because they like your style. It's like old school kung fu movies. Oh, what is your style? Well, my style is portrait photography from the Bay Area. and man, they tried to do my style, but they cannot replicate my style. Ha ha ha. Right. So we're going back to the Golden Harvest kung fu movie times, but it is true though. It still applies when the client says, "Oh, you have such a good eye." That's when you know you're establishing your identity as an artist. When you start hearing that more, "Oh, I like your eye. I like your eye. I like your," that means whatever direction that is, you need to go a little bit more toward that way. You're starting to establish a creative brand identity. Okay. So, are you honestly ready? Before we get move on to some more, oh, got somebody else. Hold on. Got Charles Tinsley. Thanks for checking in on me on YouTube. Peace, bro. I see you grinding. Hey, brother. We out here trying to do our best. What I tell people is like, as long as you show up, you just gotta take your bat, show up at the plate, whether you strike out or not. Hey, that you can't help that. You just gotta swing and give it your all. That's why I said you research, plan, execute, fail, repeat, and just trust the process. It's gonna work out. Everybody I've seen that has been successful, large or small, or whatever in their own right, they grind it, and this is not overnight. So thank you, Charles, for seeing a little bit of hustle in me, and for tuning in. So thank you very much, and thank you everybody else over on Instagram, because my job really for Marketing Monday is to help is to share my experiences so you can dodge the pitfalls, because I'm in the trenches with you. I'm not there yet, quote unquote, right? I'm grinding. That's why I'm in fucking Arizona right now. Okay, people. Stefan says photography is 80-20, or more like 90-10. Majority being business, lead generation, sales, and minority being actual photography. That's Stefan over on my Instagram, and 110%. I couldn't agree with him more, because it's so true. That's why I'm giving you this honest checklist. Like, are you honestly ready? Let's be real. Um, People, I mean, I talk about it more freely now, but I was looking real ugly when I was, financially and credit wise 10 years ago. Like, I questioned myself a lot for at least a year or two. Why did I quit my job? I got a degree. I did all this stuff. And I'm like, why did I quit all the security? What was all that for? Just to be eating ramens and rice and bread, white bread, and the worst bread in the world. I mean, I had to do what I had to do, and trust me, I didn't tell anybody about it. But now I can freely say so, because 10 years later, because I see it starting to pay off. Okay. And I'm telling you, that's why I'm sharing it with you. Look, I've done it, I've been there, and I'm still there. So if you really want to turn your passion into profits, I'm sharing you the juice. I'm giving you the juice. I'm telling you, get your straws and your cups ready. This is the juice. Okay. All right, let's get back into it. So, for those that are just checking in, etc., etc., please, please, folks, on YouTube, you can follow me on my Facebook page, Instagram, of course. Go ahead and follow TikTok. I post, but I'm really on Instagram and the metaverse, etc. Um, and I'm on Twitter as well. Okay, so feel free to check me out there. And if here we go. So again, Marketing Mondays is about turning your passion into profits, and I'm talking to my photographers, videographers, but all my advice works for models as well. So models, if you're looking to level up and honestly make a thriving career in modeling, okay, if you want to be OnlyFans, go ahead and do that. I don't care if you get more clicks, because people are thirsty out there. I don't care. But if you want to have a thriving community as a career, as a creative, this is the time to tune in every Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. If you see my video on YouTube, please give it a like or a share or both. And please smash karate chop my subscribe button, please. All right, let's get back into it, folks. Okay. Believe it or not, I did training today. I was on behalf of Panasonic here in Arizona, and I talked for like 3.5 hours straight ate a little bit, and then still clocking in for you guys because that's how I roll. Okay. And I appreciate you see me holding my microphone like it's my, like my, what do you call it? Like a, like it's going to save my life. Like, please, Lord, please, please watch my videos. Because this whole setup is interesting. It's my first remote live show with you guys. So I appreciate your patience and everything. Stefan says back on Instagram, he says, success in photography is more about success in running the business of photography than photography itself. There's riches and niches. Absolutely. That's why, like I said at the beginning of the show, you know, do you know your style, right? Professional specialists get paid more. Specialists get paid more. Maybe I need to do a video about that because a lot of you don't don't do that. Don't practice that mantra. Specialists get paid more. I could tell you're not because when I go to your websites, you have every damn photography picture you ever took, and I don't know what it is you're selling. I don't know why I should hire you. What are you good at? You got your vacation photos, your dog photos, some landscapes, some bush here, and then some people here. I'm like, I don't know what in the hell I'm looking at. It's very confusing. You need to specialize. That's why I said, do you know your style? Be honest with yourself. This is not about being rude. It's about being real. Because if you want to make money, real money, then you need to be really honest with your approach and where you're at as a photographer. Maybe you check all these boxes. You know everything. You know your style. You feel like you're honestly ready, and you've been doing this for some time, so you're trusting the process and you're seeing the growth. Then great, mazel tov, more power to you. Keep me posted, okay, on your progress. But I really want you to understand that there is a science to this. There really is. Okay. Now let's get back into it, folks. So thank you, Stefan, for more of your feedback, input, etc., and of course, tuning in. Okay, here we are. Let's get to this one. Is there a demand for your work? I had to ask one of my mentorees, shout out if she's still watching. She knows who she is. But she brought me some great questions. I should have recorded the interview. I mean, not interview, the dialogue. We talked for about an hour. All full of juiciness. I was dropping gems out of my pocket like I'm a jewel thief. And but ultimately I was like, is there a demand for your work? Because again, you can't run when you could barely walk. And what I mean by that is like, okay, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to charge X, is there even a demand to justify the X that you want to charge that you feel? Of course, I'm sure if I ask every one of you, oh, my work is worth $1 million. Oh, yeah, okay, great. You could put whatever sticker you want on there to make yourself feel better. But if there's no demand for it, I don't give a damn if you charge $2. Okay, no one wants it. There you go. The market just placed a value. It's called zero. You know what I mean? Um, so really the market dictates the value of your service, product, etc. Look at Apple. Apple actually doesn't make a superior product to PCs in general. Pound for pound, no, they're overpriced, less features, and their features tend to be 2 or 3 years late. But yet they charge more and get it with loyalty attached to it from their consumers in spades. It annoys Android camera phone manufacturers and PC people. Like, how do their customers just love their stuff? Well, because they do a thing that's like prestigious value marketing, technically is what they do. If you want to have their product, there's a certain sense of cool, hip, prestige when you own their stuff. And I think that was genius marketing. And that's why people pay what they pay. They complain right on as they're going to Apple store and buying their shit. They'll still pay it. Okay. And by the way, I just pre-ordered my iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I'm one of them. But I did it with a smile. but there's a ultimately they created a demand for their product in such a way that you'll get their shit regardless. So stop your whining, people. And you know what I'm talking about. You need to make sure that there is such a demand that justifies the rate that you want. And that's why, as I said, you can't run when you can barely walk. You can't just ask for $100 and no one's paying you $50. Okay, you can put 100 on there all you want, but you can't pay rent with zero. You know what I mean? So that's why, again, doing a market analysis, understanding who your competitors are in your area. You say, how do I do that? Go to Google Maps and simply type in etc. genre. Let's say landscape photographers in Oakland, because that's where I'm at in Oakland, and then look at the 3 to 5 of them, or let's stick with portrait photography. You look at 3 to 5 portrait photographers, and you look at their services, and you look at their prices. You take the 5 prices, you find out what the average is, cost of all that, and then you start looking at your work and why they're able to justify those prices and rates, versus why you can't charge them. I remember I found the competitor in my region that was charging like what is it, 350 for I forgot what it was. It was like something. Let's just make up a number. They were charging 300 for an hour. And at that time I was charging more like 100 when I first started, and I was like, damn, I wish one day I could charge 300. Well, clearly she had like 30 something, 50, 5-star reviews on Yelp. She's been shooting this for a while. Her portfolio is looking righteous and thick, and there you go. That's why she's able to demand it. She's created a demand for her work, because she understood the process and allowed to work through the process. And you can't run when you could barely walk. You got to pay your dues, right? And now she could charge X, and I'm like, damn, I hope I could be there one day. So that's why you have to seriously ask yourself, is there a demand for your work? And then you have to, when you're doing that competitive analysis, that's what it's called. It's called a competitive analysis, right? When you're looking and seeing compared to you, what do your direct competitors offer? How much do they charge? And what are the benefits of their products, et cetera, compared to what you're putting out there on the market? And then you look for areas of opportunities. How can you undercut them, and how can you do this? You look at, okay, what advantages that you offer that they can't do and replicate themselves, right? That's why the eye in photography, understanding your brand and your style, like I mentioned earlier, is so important. So, is there a demand for your work? And if not, how do you create that demand? Because just because there isn't a demand now doesn't mean that can't be. But you have to be honest with yourself. That's why I say, are you honestly ready? Do you know your style? Are you working the process to become a photographer that is getting a professional? The word in professional is profession. You've made this your job, a profession. You make money off of this, right? So you made all those decisions. You understand your style. You feel you're honestly ready. Now you need to create that demand. And it's okay if you don't have a demand now, but you need to create it. And how do you do that? That's why I said doing a competitive analysis, looking at your competitors in your area that offer the similar services or the same, and seeing what they're doing, etc. And then say, okay, cool. Now that I got these services down in terms of what they offer, I can do the same thing. Now, how do I do it where I separate? How do I separate myself from the other noise that's out there, the white noise, meaning everybody else is chasing for the same nickel? How do I stick out? One of the things that made me stick out as an emerging fashion photographer back in the day, and Stefan knows what I'm talking about if he's still there, is when we're doing I would show up to fashion shows, right? And I noticed we'd show up to fashion shows, and most photographers just dress in all black, whether you're white, black, Latino, whatever. You just come in all black. It's like the default dress code attire. And then a producer was like, "Hey, Robert, why don't you dress up? Since you want to do fashion photography, maybe you should look like you shoot fashion, and you would stick out." And I said, "Man, that's actually, hold on, that's a damn good idea." So I showed up, okay, um, full suit, like straight up tie, bow tie, the whole bit. And people started coming up to me because they remember me from the last show or fashion event. Didn't remember my name at all, but they remembered how good I was dressed and I was a photographer. I was like, ooh, I'll take that. I don't care if you don't remember my name, but you remember me. And I stuck out amongst all the people with cameras. Therefore, I was creating an identity and ultimately a demand because I was so different. I purposely was sticking out. So that's why, again, knowing your style and asking yourself, am I ready? Do I understand the certain basics and fundamentals that will help me separate myself from the pack? And then creating a demand. Another a good way to create a good demand for yourself, right? Um, that's why, excuse me. Um, Having a multi-dimensional income stream approach to your photography. If you're just shooting portraits, well, you should be doing portraits, headshots, digitals, and that's why I even do weddings too, because honestly, it's people, it's pictures of people. So I do weddings. I don't advertise heavily like at all, but I do weddings and I have no problem doing them, engagement shoots. So you're doing all that and like, okay, how can I build on that? Okay, I'm going to start what are some I need to know what services and products I can upsell within that and then create some income through there. And then that's why I said in my earlier Marketing Monday videos is, are you offering video services? What are you doing if you're not? You're in fool because your camera could do it, but you can't. That's pretty pitiful. Therefore, you need to add some sort of video services to your stuff. And that's a good way to create demand too, because now you're the photographer. They're like, oh, I need both these things. Can you do both? I get that more than ever. Oh, can you do, I need photos and video. Can you do that? Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I literally will double my rate by just offering both services. A matter of fact, I have a gig coming up. What's the date? Later on this month. Oh shoot. Yeah, when I get back. Okay. When I get back within a few days, I'm actually shooting photos and video. I was able to charge a half day rate. Okay. Um, just because they need photos and video, which needs more time and more more gear, etc. And therefore for my that one day, I'm getting more than I would have by just shooting her some photos for an hour. Okay. I become more in demand because I could do more for them. Again, the extra services I can offer are complementary to one another. And ultimately, a lot of the times I'm using the same camera that could do high quality video and photos at once. So it's not like I'm buying two pieces of gear. And it kind of goes back to, being the specialist, right? When you become more specialized and more of an expert in your style and in your genre, people will pay more, and that's a great way to become um, create more demand for yourself. If you say, "Oh, I shoot everything," right? It's like, damn, man, you really aren't that focused. You must have just started. You're not going to create that much of a demand, and thus they're going to automatically assume like you should be lucky to take my $100. But if you're like, I'm a portrait photographer, I've been doing 10 years, my portfolio speaks for itself. Here's my rates. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, geez, okay. They can see that, like, whether I can hire them, you or not, um, people have. And thus, there's automatically an assumption of a demand for you that you deserve X because you put in this particular work, your branding, and how you present yourself. Steffens drops in another piece, a little something, something. Building a team and a network is far more lucrative than doing it all solo. Yes, for video, absolutely, 110%. 110%. And even photography too. I this year I've hired more for my assistants to come help with me on gigs, and thus I can charge more. On top of that, and so yes, success is never achieved alone. Even if you are kind of solo and having a mentor, that means you're not alone. Is super important and actually would take you to take you a little bit further. So yes, success is never achieved alone. You need a team. But if you're going to build a team, your team is only as good as its leadership. Okay, a pack of sheep will beat a pack of wool, a pack of A pack of sheep led by a wolf will beat a pack of wolves led by a sheep. So your team is only as good as you are. So if you're going to build a team, make sure you have these fundamentals. That's why this checklist is important. Do the self-analysis before you start demanding and blowing hot ass air about how much money you think you're worth and what you need to get the stuff. And get these honest questions, this checklist here answered. And if you could do all that, right? And the process is working for you. You're working the process. You're taking your time, perfecting your craft, doing your homework, still doing TFP, trade for print shoots, right? Being humble and grinding, then you start building your team. You get that one person who just absolutely loves working with you. And then you say, you know what? I need some help. Since you're so passionate about asking me so many questions, you just want to be helpful. Throw them some money, pay your assistants, and you'll be amazed what you get out of them. And at the same time, you get to spread some knowledge because a lot of times I learn more by teaching. I've learned more about my marketing and holding myself accountable by tuning in and I mean, going live with all of you every Monday at 8 o'clock. It's actually held myself accountable. So I thank you all for that. Okay. But yes, building a team and a network. That's why I told you in my earlier videos, you have to get involved in the community that you're a part of. If you're a landscape photographer, go to meetup.com and meet up with other photographers. If you're a portrait photographer, you need to link up in Facebook groups, look for modeling pages, look for photography pages, and start reaching out and doing some free shoots. Okay. You're not too good to shoot for free. Okay. There's a purpose behind it. First, you get content for social media, you get to network, you get to build, and the more people, you don't know how many times the more people that know you, more chances that people will refer you. Let me say that again. The more people that know you gives you more chances that people will refer you. Okay. So many times, oh, such and so sent me to you. They said you'd be great to work with. Oh, this model said this, or a designer or a makeup artist. You just never know. So don't be too good to shoot for free. Okay. And that all creates a demand for your work because you're putting it out there more. And then therefore people hear about you more. Oh, I need to go check him out. How much what are you doing? Okay. I'm going to talk about pricing strategy in another video. Don't worry, I got you. Sometimes it's really hard to understand, like, where do I start? Okay, so we're going to go over that. We're going to go over where do I start with pricing, etc. So we're going to talk about building a pricing strategy, which is just one of the fine points of creating an overall marketing, an effective marketing strategy for you as a creative, small business, etc. But obviously, as you know, my videos are for photographers or any creative that want to turn their passion into profits. Okay, everybody. With all that said, okay. Whew, that was a lot, right? Oh my goodness. I so appreciate you all just hanging in there. Okay. Make sure you go follow me on social media. Okay. It's free 99. Please, please. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up. I do offer marketing consultations digitally or in person. If you need any online marketing, social media strategy, or content development assistance, hit me up. Okay. I got fair rates. Don't you worry. Okay. But knowledge isn't free, folks. Tune in every Monday at 8 p.m. for another episode of Marketing Monday. Please like and share my video. Okay. And remember, if you want to turn your passion into profits, tune in, people. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Your continued support means so much to me. Press like, share, and thank you, Jerome. Much appreciated. And until next time, keep shooting and stay creative. Thank you for watching.